أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيد محمد سيد البشر وآله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين ومن والاه ومن لم يوالي هذا الرسول فإما أن يصمت أو يترك. You can leave. This is not for you. Trust me on this. Wallahi, this is not for you. If you want to badmouth Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Islam, this is not for you. This is only for people who have faith. They just want to know knowledge of what's going on without any people selling Islam to make money. There's a lot of people out there selling Islam to make money. This is part 2 of what is the Arabic language. So we come up on number 3 in my same book. We're still explaining Al-Quran يتحدى الناس. The Quran versus people. We're talking about number 3 on page 114. What the Arab intellectuals say about Arabic. You want to go to the source. You want to learn what Arabic is. You do not go to a Russian scholar and tell him, well, what is Arabic? You do not go to the Chinese. Well, what did they learn Arabic in the first place? How did Europe hear about Islam? From a Sahaba. In today's day and age, we're asked to apologize for what the Sahaba did. Are you out of your mind? Excuse me? Are you out of your mind? Are you going to say, no, even Al-Azhar could do that. And they're pressuring Al-Azhar al-Sharif to say that. No way. Al-Azhar is Sawt Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They're asking us to say that what the Sahaba did from Al-Futuhat al-Islamiyya is wrong. How could I say Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As is wrong and he's Sahabi? Sayyidina Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan, Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah, radiyallahu anhum wardahum, Sayyidina Khalid bin al-Walid, Sayyidina Abdullah, all of those people. How am I going to apologize? Oh, we're sorry that Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As went into Egypt. Are you serious? Wallah, we're sorry that Sayyidina Khalid bin al-Walid went to Iraq. Are you crazy? What is Al-Arab, Muslimun? Muslims are dead. It's a corpse somewhere in a morgue. Is this Arabi? Wallah, Arabi. Rahmatullah alayh. Rahmatullah alayh. We come to the origins of the Arabic language. You want to learn Arabic, you'll have to understand what Arabic is from the intellectuals. Mustafa Mahmoud died in 2009, rahimahullah, was a very well-known scholar from Egypt. Egypt, if you want to know, Egypt has the most scholars, the most literate writers and authors. They have most of the bulk of the ulama are from Egypt. They taught us when we were kids, oh, Masri, like he's an Egyptian, he's nothing. Masri, who are you? Masr is the cradle of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Not Al-Haramain or not whatever. No. Al-Islam, Al-Quran fell like rain on the mountains of Mecca and Medina, but it settled in the Widyan, in the valleys, and these valleys were 3. Iraq, Sham, which is the Levant, and Masr. And it reached all the way to Tunisia, Algeria, right to Spain. So what he says in his Science and Faith, a lot of people at the very end of the life of Mustafa Mahmoud, unfortunately, they started accusing him of being mulhid. He's basically an atheist. A lot of names, anti-Semite, of course. If you're a Muslim, you're an anti-Semite automatically. If you're Muslim, anti-Semite. You'll have to be anti-Semite. That's not me who says this. That's the world ranking. Muslim, anti-Semite. You believe in Muhammad? You're crazy. This is the world now. Wake up, people. Wake up, Arabs. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll wake up. In his famous program, Al-Ilm wal-Iman, he says the language that Adam spoke. Al-Lugha allati takallama biha Adam alayhi salam. What language did he speak? Chinese? Maybe. Let's see. Hindi. Maybe he spoke Hindi. Who knows? The episode that outlined about there's 5,000 languages worldwide. From them we find about 2,000 of them exist in the Americas alone. Which means the Americas, North and South, had a culture and had a civilization that this whole world has never heard of. From this we see that it touches on the history of Egypt and how the Luxus were basically Muslims even. When Akhnouch, which is Sayyidina Idris alayhi salam, reached Egypt, they were all Muwahhidun. The oldest farmer in the world is from Egypt, as well as from Iraq. Mustafa shows the relationship between the Arabic language and the other languages that got distorted and moved on. And you have to understand this very well. How did languages disappear and how did languages adopt certain words? You can adopt a certain word if a nation disappears and they were dealing with us and we used to use their words. For example, bank. Bank now تعربت. It's been Arabicized. Now we can use, instead of مصرف, bank. We can use bank, bank. And it has also variation conjugation. بنكية. That's the adjective. And you can derive an adverb. You can do everything with it. Castle in Arabic is قصر. Cave is كهف. Sugar is سكر. Justice is قسط. Noble is نبيل. And earth is أرض. Ard, earth. And these were just some of the words. And then he touches on basically the roots. Any language will have to have roots. So he says that in theory, Arabic has got about 16,000 roots. Hebrew's got 2,500. So how could Hebrew be the father of the Arabic if Hebrew has less roots? Are you going to say that it grew more roots and became the Arabic language? I don't think so. Saxons have only 1,000 roots. Saxon is basically what's left of, God knows, from the Jutes, Normans. There were Saxons. They were isolated in England, the British Isles. 700 roots had Latin, and nothing was mentioned about China. When I was learning Chinese and the Chinese culture, the Chinese were the only people who were basically cut off since Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam until today. That's why they have a totally different culture. Chinese are Dunawi. If you want to learn anything about this world and this dunya, you'll have to learn from a Chinese. Comparison between Hebrew and Arabic, basically, according to Dr. Mustafa Mahmoud, is similar, but does not indicate any former is the eldest or the origin language. People basically had given up and said, okay, we're going to give up on who has the oldest language. So they said, well, we're going to conclude and say there is no more oldest language, just to get out of this predicament, because it became a bloody problem anyway. Hebrew, basically, if you just compare similarities between Hebrew and Arabic, you'll find that Hebrew has 19 alphabets, Arabic has 28. This is what's known. But or 26. But this is what's known. A lot of Arabs said if everything were written in Arabic, it would have covered the desert with books of what's written in Arabic. Like if you go even to Qabr Imru al-Qais, you will say Z instead of هذا or هذه. You could say هذا قبر or هذه بقايا. But it said Z, which means the Arabic language was absolutely huge. How come Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam spoke the Arabic? Because he picked up the classical language. He picked up classical Arabic. And he left what is qani or dani or anything that does not suit the Arabic language. You'll have to understand these things. Wa Nabi. How could the Prophet be speaking with rubbish Arabic? He can't. He's a Nabi, Ma'soom. So Arabic might be 8,000 years old, well the Hebrew is basically 4,000 years old. So Hebrew came with the Ibraniyun, which is basically Asbat, the grandsons of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam. And then after that we see there were the Canaanites who spoke Arabic anyway. And Moab and all of the parts in Jordan. If you go to Jordan, there are some ruins in Jordan that date back before, even during Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. There are some crazy people suggesting that Petra might have been Mecca. Okay, good luck with that. Seriously, you're not just crazy. You should go to a Fhes. There's a hospital in Jordan for crazy people, nutters. It's called Fhes. You should go there, man. Dr. Mustafa also looks at the Arabic language and how intertwined it is. This you'll have to also understand from Sheikh al-Imam Muhammad Abu Zahra, rahimahullah. He describes in Al-Mu'jizat al-Kubra al-Quran al-Karim, or Al-Mu'jiza al-Quran al-Karim, he explains exactly how Arabic language is so intertwined together. So you've got Jayyid is J, let's say J-Y-D, and from that root you can actually do Yujid, Yajud. With only one word, just changing its shape and form, you can actually build a sentence. There are some words in the Quran, if you just go on the internet and do some search, the longest word in the Quran that makes the longest sentence, you'll find that some words in the Quran that actually make sentences. So the Arabic language, basically, with whatever you use as, let's say, dhamma, fatha, kasra, all of these vowels, they call them vowels, they can generate more than its meaning itself. So you can have the root, and after the root you can have basically the adjective, adverb, suffix, anything. You can conjugate with the dhamma and fatha and all of this. So basically, if you look at the English language, another example was of the expression least words in the English language, and he gives us one simple expression, which is basically, I've written it over here, which is lan adhab, which is I'm not going to go. So even if you say it in French, je ne vais pas, or je ne veux pas aller. Or you see, you have to, that I am not going. Dude, we died over here. We're still waiting for you to finish the sentence. Whereas in Arabic, it's lan adhab. End of story. Thank you very much. We now understand. So the intertwined expressions in the Arabic language makes it look like it is basically as what Mustafa Sadiq al-Rafi'i had said, and I've just put it here. This is what I've loved most about. On page 7, it's basically what Mustafa Sadiq al-Rafi'i had said in the banner of the Quran. He said, إن هذه العربية بنيت على أصل سحري يجعل شبابها خالدا عليها فلا تهرم ولا تموت. Arabic language, it seems like when you listen to it, it does not go old and it does not die away, which is very abnormal for a language to that. Because if you send someone from William Shakespeare's time to today, you need translators. If you get Chaucer, the father of the English language, we won't understand him at all. But if you bring Abu Jahl, everybody will understand him. It's the same classical Arabic. Everybody understands classical Arabic. He will even laugh at you and say, ما هذا? You fellas speak funny, he will say. And he's Abu Jahl. فرعون هذه الأمة. لعنه الله. So anyway, the doctor, he also demonstrates in the same video about Dr. Chris demonstrates showing the differences between skulls of modern time and previous times from Ethiopia. He starts digging and say like the languages too had developed in 40,000 years. So now he's showing us a video. Dr. Mustafa Mahmoud shows us also a video of how those people basically are trying to link languages to skulls and artifacts they found thousands of years ago. The Arabic language, I've missed also to say that even when you speak in Arabic, like there's a difference between ha and kha. And you can even by the listening of ha, anything sounds with ha is warm. Anything sounds with kha is basically let's say demean words or harsh words are linked to kha. They deny all this and they say, well, let's look at, for example, how the language developed. So they go and search Africa, those scientists or anthropologists or whatever, and they find some skulls and they say, well, we found this skull and we found that skull. This skull is maybe they spoke this language and then it developed and what's so on and so forth, and start showing us in the documentary that Arabic, English developed from this, from that, and they omit completely the Arabic language in the Middle East. They treat it as there's nothing there. Typical that you won't find any sources teaching you or even telling you or even informing you remotely how did Arabic even develop or where did it come. العربية وجدت كما هي. The Arabic language, someone told me, is as it is. It never changed. If it had changed, Anta has been Anta for millions of years, not just thousands of years, millions. 1.5 million years, Anta was Anta. At the end, they never even looked at water, never came from matar, which is rain. Simple as that. Mustafa Mahmoud concludes with the following, that the Arabic language might be the richest in roots and might be one of the designated languages, or maybe a good candidate language to be voted in as the oldest language and the mother of all languages. The Babylonians had Sumerian, and Sumerian language was extinct. Nobody speaks Sumerian anymore. Pyramids were not built by the three theories, either by aliens, Atlantis, or the Jews, no, or the Israelites, basically Beni Israel. It wasn't there. It was actually built before. It was built by the Egyptians, simply. Africa might be the origin of languages and humans. So he didn't confirm anything, basically. So they did not confirm anything at all. They did not get a skull with a copybook and say, oh, this is how he spoke and this is how he's written. Nothing of this happened. Before continuing with the chapter with Dr. Mustafa Mahmoud, I need to explain things about the scientist that is much known in the Arabic world. Mustafa Mahmoud shared, as I said, he's been criticized a lot, even by Arabs and Muslims. At the very end, they thought that he was basically an atheist, but he wasn't. Basically, he found God and he's promoted himself as a defender of the Arabic language and Islam. And he's got a lot of books actually available on the internet, and you can actually judge that for yourselves. At the very end, basically, he was criticized by Sheikh Kushk. Sheikh Kushk used to criticize everybody, even if they tried, because he was misunderstood. Mustafa Mahmoud was not a Sharia scholar. He was just a scientist who's trying to put something forward. That's all it is. He was also designated, maybe, or just registered somewhere as an anti-Semite on the 19th of March 1994, an article regarding about Jews and all this. But he also brings forward there's a lot of similarities between Arabic and Judaism, or let's say Arabic and the Hebrew language, not Judaism. Judaism is a religion. أنا أني أنت أت أتن خنخنو نحن, all of these are similar. So to say Hebrew is an offshoot in Arabic language, if you say that overseas, of course you'll be an anti-Semite. They will shoot you dead, maybe, who knows. But this is the actual fact. They are related regardless. Even the Aramaic is related. Now the question is, who came first? That's what the scientists are trying to determine and put it in the UN as Hebrew's the first. But it's not that at all. You cannot determine who's the first. If you want something written and put somewhere in chiseled in a rock, it's impossible. It's impossible that you will get something 110% written. But if you read the Quran, this is the problem. The problem is the Quran. If you read the Quran and you see وَتَلَقَّى آدَمَ فَتَلَقَّى آدَمَ كَلِمَاتٍ مِّن رَبِّهِ. What language did Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam speak? Of course, it's going to have to be Arabic. When he first was created, the angels told him, قُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ, when he sneezed. قَالَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. So there you go. سَلِّمْ يَا Adam. Those are angels over there. Go and say Assalamu alaikum. He said Assalamu alaikum wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh ya Adam. هذه تحيتك يا Adam. So there's a lot of controversy between scientists who wants to dig something and get an artifact and someone who basically read the Quran. Huge controversy. So the scientists' objective is to cancel completely the idea of the Quran. And some Arab Muslims, unfortunately, munafiqin, they've taken that. They say, oh, we can do that. Because they want to be PhD, doctor, such and such, monkey doctor. Like human beings were monkeys. Oh, you're a doctor now. You're a doctor. And after Mustafa Mahmoud, rahimahullah, there's a scholar, Muhammad Mitwalli Sha'rawi radiallahu anhu. He basically outlines exactly how things happen from the Quran itself. So basically, yes, that's not going to go well with the people who are studying archaeologists. Not even the modern Muslim, the neo-Muslims that we get from the US and from Australia and from UAE and from all of those who are haunting the channels, the satellite channels, by telling you, oh, this is not what happened, or this is what happened, and who came first, Ismail or Ishaq, or who basically Isaac is first. He's the Nabi. Ismail wasn't there at the time, and who's the Dhabih, and where was Mecca, and where was. We have a lot of drivel in this world that is trying to conceal what the Quran basically says. Unfortunately, this is the dunya. Wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow they wake up, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala ashraf al-anbiya al-mursaleen. Sayyidina Muhammad Sayyid Bashar wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ajma'in. And as I keep on saying, وَمَنْ وَالَاهُ وَمَنْ لَمْ يُوَالِيهِ فَلْيَصْمِتْ أَوْ يَخْرُجْ.